Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this video is talking about graphing quadratics, but also getting a little bit into the properties of quadratics. Okay, so take this problem here. Look up here carefully, guys. Sorry it's a little small, but they're asking us to graph that quadratic, right? I hope you realize that that is what we call vertex form. Whenever you see that parentheses squared in there, guys, you should kind of recognize that as vertex form, okay? But anyways, so how are we going to graph this? Now, as you notice, we already have the graphs over here, right? There's A, B, here's C and D. One of those graphs must be the right graph. So what can we use what we learned in class to graph this? Well, there's one thing I want to keep reminding you guys. We always make a table. Now the good news this time is we do not need a large table. As a matter of fact, we may need only one point, the vertex. Now how do we find the vertex? We look right here and we ask ourselves, what makes x plus 2 0? And hopefully you agree negative 2 makes it 0. And remember, this is actually our vertex. Okay? And so using our vertex, I bet only one of these is going to work. So if we plug in negative 2, follow the green. If we plug in negative 2 right there, wouldn't we have 1/2 negative 2 plus 2 squared minus 1? And this part, of course, is 0. And with the square, it's still 0. And then when I times it with 1/2, it's still 0 minus 1. So isn't y got to be negative 1? Guys, we have our vertex, right? And negative 2, negative 1. So let's look at our graph A. Notice it's 2 to the left, but right there, the vertex is at negative 2, positive 1. That can't be right. Let's look at B. Notice B, the vertex right there, is at positive 2, positive 1. Okay, so we're down to two possibilities. Remember, we're looking for negative 2, negative 1, right? So looking here, notice this one has it at 2, negative 1. And then finally, this one here has it right at negative 2, negative 1. So guys, I hope you agree the only choice we really have is D. Because remember, that's the only one that has this correct vertex right here, right? So guys, remember on these multiple choice tests, in other words, sometimes all you need is 1 or 2 points to match up, and you can find your graph. So anyways, the answer in this case was D, right? So pause the video if you need to, or rewind, but let's move on. Look at this one right here. Now notice this one's asking, hey, find the zeros. Now guys, we honestly haven't talked a lot about zeros in class, except we used them a lot already without realizing it. What does a zero mean is where does the graph, and I'm pointing to them right now, where does the graph cross the x-axis right here, right? Because wherever it's on the x, isn't the y value 0? Hence the name 0. And putting it another way, guys, let me clean this up a little bit. Does everybody agree the graph crosses right there at 1, 0, positive 1, 0, does it not? And doesn't it also cross over here at negative 5, 0? Guys, because the points give us 0 for y, hence the name zeros. It's where, again, another good name, by the way, is x-intercept. Okay, x-intercept. Sorry, I ran out of room there. Okay, x-intercepts is another good name for zeros. Okay, and, but anyway, so if you can look here, you can see the only one that matches my answer is C right there, right? Our zeros are at negative 5, 0, and 1, 0. So pause the video if you need to, guys. Anyways, hopefully now you recognize that zeros just simply mean where does it cross the x. Because at the x-axis, we are going to get a value of 0, correct? And just to follow up, if we were to make a table, wouldn't negative 5 be a 0? Wouldn't the 1 also give us a 0? Yeah, hence the name zeros. Okay, let's keep moving on here. So guys, look at this problem right here. Notice right there, they gave us it in standard form. So one of the things we've been struggling with, of course, is we've been graphing in standard form, vertex form, intercept form, okay? Sometimes also called factor form. But this one's in standard form. They're asking, notice guys, what are they asking here? They're asking for the vertex. Well guys, again, I don't need to make a huge table. But one thing you agree is I always told you to make a table. And the first value we always look for is the vertex, is it not? So that's what we're going to do. So how do I find the vertex again? Is it not negative b over 2a? And if we look carefully over here again, isn't the b at positive 4? Isn't the a at negative 2? Again, see the 4x there and the negative 2x squared there. Be careful with your negatives, guys. Notice it's negative of the b over 2 times a, right? And so finishing up here, isn't negative 4, of course? Isn't 2 times negative 2, negative 4? Isn't negative 4 divided by negative 4 positive 1? Again, guys, that's where my vertex is going to be, right? So in my table, I always taught you to put it in the middle. And let's just find the vertex, okay? So we're going to plug 1. We're going to plug 1, follow the purple now, back into our original equation right there. Okay? And so I'll do it old school this time. Negative 2 times x squared, which is now 1. We want to know where it's 1, right? What value at 1. Plus 4 times 1 plus 1. Again, all I did was plug the 1 into my equation to find its y coordinate, right? And hopefully you agree that 1 squared is 1, times with negative 2 is negative 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1. And if you add that up together, see, negative 2 and 4 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So guys, I know my vertex must be at 1, 3. Now notice I have two good choices there. So what do I do next? Well guys, hopefully, look at the equation with me one more time. Because it's a negative 2x squared, does everybody agree? Now again, I'm going to just clean up my board here a little bit. There we go, give me some space here. But does everybody agree what that negative 2 means is that the parabola is opening down? And our vertex, of course, is at the very top middle of the parabola. So guys, is that point up there the maximum or the minimum? Hopefully you agree that right there is what we call the max value. So therefore the answer is C. Okay, the answer was C because it's not B, because it's not a minimum, the vertex. It's a maximum, right? So anyways, guys, hopefully you watch this video more than once. And you'll study it and understand some of the properties like vertex, max and min, etc. And maybe also a few tricks in graphing. Okay? Until next time, bye.